Hey everyone, welcome to the Philosophy Ninja. I am Paul, your Philosophy Ninja. Before we get started, a quick mention of what we're listening to and what I'm drinking. We're listening to a band called Stinking Lizaveta, an ensemble that I believe is the finest rock and roll band ever to tune guitars. They are so good. It's a power trio of an electric guitarist, an upright bassist, and a lady drummer. She's fantastic. It's a great group. They've been playing for a long time. They're still going strong from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a band called Stinking Lizaveta. They're my favorites, absolute favorites. And, I find them very inspiring, so I have them in the background today. I am drinking, courtesy of my neighbor Rocky, Hop Valley Brewing Company West Coast IPA. It's pretty good. It's not bad. It's very dry, and it's got a nice body, and the color seems to be kind of on the lightest side. It's okay. It's pretty good drinking, and for the price that I paid for it, which was $0, it's very, very good. Okay, let's get right into it. This episode, we want to talk about the question of meaning. More specifically, what does meaning mean? How do you define the word even, the concept? Okay? Now, we use the word meaning all the time, so commonly in our everyday speech. What does this mean? This has lost its meaning. This has no meaning. This is meaningless. All these phrases we throw around so casually without really, I'm not sure we understand what we're saying. And if you were to ask somebody who uses meaning, in their speech again and again throughout the day, if you were to ask them to define the word meaning, I think you would find them at a loss. I mean, the vast majority of people, right? It's kind of like the word ironic or irony. Define irony. And somebody might struggle and say something like, irony is when things are like ironic. It's just, you have a sense of what it means, but you can't define it yourself, right? So let's get at that, right? What does meaning mean? Okay. I think you'll find this surprisingly simple. Okay? Meaning refers to some object, like a word, or a symbol, or a physical object that serves as a kind of word or symbol, right? That points to a more fundamental, more basic, and more important reality than itself. Okay? For example, let's take the most simple form of signifier. That means a direction pointer, right? Signifier, right? It points to something bigger than itself, okay? A red octagon with the letters S-T-O-P on them. Just a simple piece of aluminum, painted red, right? Big deal. But actually, it points beyond itself to something very important. Is that on this intersection, it would behoove everyone who approaches this sign to come to a complete stop before crossing the intersection to keep themselves safe and alive, right? It means all that. It points to that greater reality beyond itself being a pretty worthless piece of aluminum, right? But it points to this greater reality, and that's the meaning of the red octagon, right? Okay, so somebody gives you a birthday present, right? And it's a ring. Let's say it's a person of the opposite sex or somebody who you might be, romantically interested in. Okay. whoever that person might be. Okay? And that person bought you a birthday gift. And it was a ring made with real 14 karat gold, solid, right? What is that all about? What does that mean, right? So you want to know the hidden reality of that person's state of mind and state of emotions, and more specifically, their emotions for you at that moment in giving that gift, right? You'd like to know about that, wouldn't you? That's the more fundamental, more important reality that this simple ring is pointing to, and that's the meaning, right? Very good. I think you're starting to get the idea. You're starting to get the hang of it, okay? Now, you ask these questions, right? Okay, what's the meaning? What's the meaning? What's the meaning, right? What meaning is there in that? Okay, so that leads logically to the very big question, right? The most fundamental one, in this line of thinking is, why don't we lump all the cosmos together, and all the possibilities for the cosmos together, and all the possibilities of human imagination, the sum total of all of human imagination and creativity together. They just lump that all together, right? Does all that have any meaning? So we're asking, really, does all of reality, seen reality, right? All the cosmos and all the possibilities for the cosmos and my own life, my little place in it, does that have any meaning? Meaning, does all that point to something more basic, fundamental, and more important, a higher reality? Well, that is indeed the $64,000 question, isn't it? That's questions about God, heaven, hell, and all those things, isn't it? So religious people have their answers for it, right? Of the various religions. Natural things point to something supernatural, beyond natural, and they solve the problem that way. Atheists have one of two options that I can see. Is they say something like, I construct the meaning, right? I have these certain animal impulses and these objects in my environment, and I shape myself a kind of narrative or sense of everything, right? And I'm actually constructing the meaning for myself as I experience it. I don't think that's tenable, right? Ultimately, that's self-referential. It's kind of circular. It's a closed system. So that's not meaning at all. It doesn't point to anything greater, right? I don't think that works. Another possibility is communism, right? Atheistic communism. You always hold out that hope of that future utopia that's yet attained, right? It's getting closer, you think, day by day, but it's always sort of distant out in front of you, like a carrot that you'll never reach, right? So this constant, push towards the future, progress towards the future, this tomorrow, this constant tomorrow, grants today meaning. This future holds promise. It's optimistic, and it's a greater reality than today that we're working towards, that we're progressing towards. So atheistic communism is a way of solving the meaning problem for secular materialists, right, or atheists. Today is a signifier, or points towards something greater, which is that wonderful future that we have promised for us if we follow the system, right? Very good. Well, I hope that's something that you find worth considering and pondering for yourself. And I would love to hear from any of you that might have any comments about this topic. Say, do you yourself believe that all the cosmos and your very life has meaning? If not, what do you think is happening? What motivates you, right? How do you make sense of the world? Very interesting. Are you a religious person? And how does that shape your understanding of meaning in your life? If you're not a religious person, I'm very interested to hear from you. How do you understand meaning in your life? And ultimately, does your life have any meaning? That's pretty interesting. Full disclosure, I'm a religious person. I'm Catholic. And I'm a believer and a practicing Catholic. But I'm very open to hear the opinions of anyone from any creed or anyone of non-belief. Just fine. You know, we're all friends, and we can learn from each other and share. I hope to hear from you in the comments. That would be great. And any suggestions for topics that you'd like to hear me comment on, that's just fine too. Very well. So I'm Paul, your philosophy ninja, bidding you adieu.